I'm with Yolanda today from Van Veen Bulbs. And Yolanda, we've seen you at Garden Palooza in the springtime with spring bulbs, but it's fun to come for summer bulbs.
Yes, and we sell lots of summer bulbs and spring bulbs and fall bulbs, and you can plant bulbs any time of the year.
You know, it's not too late. And I think this kind of year, you want to get things into the garden and it'll just be a little bit later bloom.
Yes, exactly. And so even we have all kinds of lilies that we're selling now, and they're dug up in the fall and put into freezers, and then we take them out of the freezers as we need them, and then it's 60 to 90 days to bloom time. So that's how most growers do it. But you can do that in your garden as well.
Right.
So you can come to the Portland Market or the Beaverton Market or online and buy the bulbs, plant them now. They'll be blooming by September or October. And who wouldn't want lilies blooming in October? You'd be the only one in the neighborhood.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But you have some other things to talk about, and cannas. I don't think I've ever seen a canna like that.
This is beautiful. This is my favorite canna. It's called Cleopatra, and it was hybridized in the late 1800s, and I guess it was the biggest hit at the Chicago Fair in the 1890s, which I always love a history of plants. And it doesn't have any rhyme or reason. I like plants that break rules because I like people that break rules. And the fact about it that I liked is that you can have a burgundy leaf and then a green leaf, and then you can have a leaf that has burgundy stripes and then green stripes. And it is the only plant in the world that I know of where the leaf is not a mirror. If you think about it, every single flower, the leaf itself will have a mirror image. But this one will have half burgundy, half green, and there's absolutely no rhyme or reason. And then the flower, they're not blooming yet, they'll bloom in late summer. They'll have a yellow flower and then a red flower and then a yellow flower with spots on it. So I don't know any other plants that do that either. So.
Well, that's nice. So you never know what you get, so it's kind of fun to have.
It is fun, and no two plants are the same. And I love that about the Cleopatra.
And then Calas, these are a beautiful mix of colors. So many different ones. You can have a beautiful bouquet in your house too.
You can, and I always remind people that colored Calas are not like the large white Calas in any way. They're a totally different plant. They're from different parts of South Africa. So these actually like hot sun in our climate and actually drier conditions. They don't live in a bog. And the great part about it is as soon as there's greenery, there's flowers. So even this time of year in June and into July, you can plant them and still have blooms the same year.
That is very interesting. I never had heard that.
Yeah, and they're wonderful. And just keep them in a good drainage area and water them, but really let them dry out in between, and you'll get a lot more blooms out of them. And they come in great colors. Like this is Ruby Light Rose. I love the names. Garnet Glow and Crystal Blush. Beautiful. And they're great for weddings too. So they're the #1 wedding cut flower too.
Oh, that's
so
new.
They're good in the garden, or you can put one in the vase and it'll last for a month to 2 months in the house.
Wow. And I see you have some other cannas here. These are a little different.
These are Canna Durban, which if I lived in England or if I lived in South Africa or Australia, I could call them Tropicana.
Okay.
But because I did not get them from one producer in America that sells them as Tropicana, I have to call them Durban.
Okay.
But they're beautiful, and the same thing, there's no two that are the same. They have great foliage, and as you see, they are a mirror. But no, even within the same plant, the leaves will be different. And I love the fact that even when they're not blooming, they're gorgeous.
Very pretty. What a great foliage
And
plant.
I've had the foliage and the blooms last through the end of November before.
Very
So
nice.
I love plants that just kick it through the fall.
Right.
I think that's wonderful.
And here's that lily you were talking about.
And this is Conca d'Or, and it's a beautiful yellow lily, like a yellow Casablanca. And I like the fragrance, a little more cinnamon scent than a clove scent.
Beautiful.
And it just gets really tall with lots of blooms over the year. And it, you know, even the taller lilies do great in pots. Like people always say, I can't put taller things in pots, but I found they'll stay a little bit shorter, and they still do fine.
And what an addition to a border or a container for your deck.
It is, and they're beautiful. And even in the containers, they bloom a little bit earlier than the ones I do that are outside in the ground, because they seem to get just a little bit warmer. So I just love them, and they're great in the pots or the containers. They just come back year after year, and you don't have to dig them up, and they'll multiply eventually. So I just love it.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for bringing all these different ones. I think you've given us some great hints for summer bulbs in the garden, and it's just never too late. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.